Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, I'm so happy to have you. As my pre-distant subscribers, welcome back to the channel. So for today's video in particular, we're going to be talking about and discussing today's topic, what should be titled, Death to America. Now, a lot of you guys are probably puzzled right now. You're probably a little bit confused. Like, Chris, what does this even mean? What are you even saying? What are you trying to tell us? Well, this is not a submission by me. It was not submitted by you guys. It was not submitted by one of my subscribers. Believe it or not, it was a video suggestion, a recommendation. More so than anything, it was being told that I had to do the video, so I wouldn't classify it as a recommendation. But the spiritual realm was like, do a video topic on death to America. So that's what today's video is going to be all about. Now, I had no idea, I had no contact. I know just as much as you do. And that's what the whole point of today's video is. We're going to try to figure out what does spirit mean when they say death to America. Not as a threat. But what does it mean? I want to know what we're going to find out in today's video. If you have not been watching some of my videos, I have done 2 other videos prior to this one that was recommended by Spirit. I did put a pause on subscribers submitted questions. If you want to go ahead and submit your question, go into the community post and drop your question. Then I will get to it and I will go in the order in which it was sent. Although one person does have a time-sensitive one and that will come first. But anyway, besides the point. I covered a video called The Fall of Britain, The Death of a King. I just did that video about 2 days ago. Then we also have The Revival of England. Really great video if you're looking for some sort of positivity, a positive boost. You really want to know about your intuition, how it works, your manifestation. There's a beautiful message there if that attracts you. But again, it's called Revival of England. This specific video is called The Death to America. And then next video after that, the last submission by Spirit, they wanted me to do a video on called, quote, The Fall of Trump, but, ... And that's going to be the most interesting video, I think, of all. But I really love how, Spirit is actively engaged in this type of thing. So, yeah, anyway. This video is just for entertainment purposes and educational purposes only as well. This video is being recorded on Thursday, August 7th. At 10:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as and when I'm recording this specific video. If you want to help out this channel grow, you can do so by liking, commenting, subscribing, hitting the bell icon, engaging with the content, sharing the video with others. Really help boost the algorithm here on this YouTube channel. And if you want to stay in the loop and be notified when I do post and upload, I do have a Facebook group and a Blue Sky account in the description below if you are interested, and also in the comment section. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's get on with this. I don't like to waste your time, neither do you. So let's just get on with this. I had a thought the other day. I think it was today actually, and I was asking myself, if you guys been with me for a while, and you may have remembered the video that I did prior to the 2024 election, I kept saying that it was very weird. It was very hard to describe the result, the presidential election. It was very hard to transcribe it in an accurate way because it kept saying winner for Harris and a winner for Donald Trump. And remember how I talked about black magic and Donald Trump and how he used black magic back in 2020, and it got negative perception, people didn't believe it, et cetera, et cetera. So I never covered that topic until last year going to this year of 2025. A lot of you guys came to term with, Chris, it might be possible, And then as we were going into those videos and we were exploring a little bit deeper, we found out that black magic is also part of time travel. And a lot of you guys, it clicks in your head about time travel. And one of the things that I got recently was, what if Harris did win, but the timeline changed due to black magic? I think that's an interesting video topic to explore and see, did Harris actually become president in our original timeline, and did time travel alter the outcome and went the other way towards Trump? And I think that's something that's really, really fascinating. So I really feel like if you guys want me to do a video like that, let me know in the comment section below. I'm really curious to see what your thoughts are on that. Anyway, let's go ahead. Let's begin. I have no idea where we're going to start. So Spirit, can you tell me what we're doing? Okay, so if you have been with me for 2 years, you may have a number where I have the ability to also see psychically with my third eye, but also have my eyes open and hear clairaudiently. I haven't done a psychic channeling on the channel for quite a while. I think the last time I'd done it was back in December of 2024. So this one is showing me a book, and it's from the Akashic Records. And I asked specifically today for Spirit to show me the history book of the United States. And so I'm in the library right now, and I'm going to describe to the best of my ability what the book is and what it says. So it has like a leather back end, and it's like all these paper. It's like pretty much, it kind of flashes between very finely cut, like the modern day papers, and one that's like handmade back in the 1700s. So it's kind of like the book is made with both, which kind of tells the historical significance of the United States. So I'm looking at this book. I'm going to close my eyes right now. I'm just going to read and tell you what I'm hearing clairaudiently. So there will be a little bit of gap along this video, but I'm really curious to see what Spirit says. And you guys have anything, any question, anything, feel free to put them in the comment section below. I'm really curious to see what you think. All right, I'm going to close my eyes. Okay, show me this book. Okay, so I'm seeing the title on the left page here. On this page is saying "Death to America." That's the caption. Okay, what does it mean? Like, what is that? Okay, so it says "Death to America is instilled with all that will and will never be. A freedom once disposed that cannot be. Slavery always was and could be. Never removed, just hidden. Within the background, darkness. Lies corruption, open. Billionaires were never of the past. They've always been with us. From the very first of the United States has always been about the rich, the wealthy, the men. The marking of a woman that we put up for you was not to start with Hillary, was not to start with Harris. It was the start of the very first woman who stood beneath the altar wishing to run for president. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't an accident. There was many women before you that stood up who promised to be able to bring what men could not. But America was not ready. America could never be ready. But America, the one that you know, the one history tells you to know, will never be ready. But the world that we live in, the world that we seek, there's a divide going on right now. Women are the future. Men are the past. But when we say this, we don't say all men. We say the masculine side, the negativity, the fighting, the war. Women will bring careful consideration. They will sit there. They will ponder on thoughts. Many women in position of power will not age as fast as men did, because when they govern with love. But hold on. It's saying, do not be mistaken, that many women will betray other women, just because they are walking within the shadows of women. Doesn't mean that they are within the light of women. And when we say this, we're talking about the simple fact and the simple truth that a woman cannot always represent the femininity, cannot always represent love and kindness, transparency. Sometimes a woman can represent masculinity. It can represent war, hatred, greed, corruption. So, when we tell you that when a woman steps into positions of power, if she was to seek the presidency of the United States under this current realm with no change to the system at all, it will be a woman who is masculine, a woman who is corrupt, a woman who is met with greed, hate, disparity. But that is what everybody asked for. She represents not the feminine, not the women. She represents the old guard. She is the old guard. Whether she's a woman or not, it's not up for debate. But the simple truth is, just because they are walking like a duck, talk like a duck, act like a duck, doesn't mean they are a duck. Because sometimes the enemy is within, not from without. And so, women around the world will see this. They will understand this. but they must be able to discern the difference between who is true and who is false. Just like all things in life, there is shadow and there is light. The question is that we have for you is, are you in the shadow or are you in the light? And often more than not, the American history has been darkened. It has been removed. It has been altered. That is not by accident. That is by design. Because the United States that you know, the United States that you know, is the illusion. It's the story that they fed you. But Pluto Return is different. Pluto Return is bringing you something more bountiful, more plentiful, more honest, more transparent. Yes, Pluto Return is scary. Yes, Pluto Return is hard, damaging. But there's also a reward. It's the reward of honesty, the reward of truth, the reward of understanding. Because the people in position of power now, the masculine, are not openly honest with who they are, what they represent, their goals, their ambition. But one thing we can tell you with certainty is that many men around the world have altered our future by using the books, the historical significance, to alter time. Because it doesn't take a rocket scientist to be a psychic to know how and when a man can control the history in which the world goes. But if he can control the historical significance of one nation, then he controls the fate of the collective. And so, when we tell you this, we tell you this with certainty. We tell you this with gratitude. We tell you this with understanding of who and where we are. Sometimes we don't know who we are or what we are because America lacks something. The death to America is not a threat. It never was. The death to America simply symbolizes the ending of an illusion, the ending of the false story, an ending of where people in position of power prevent the American people from having their own identity. Part of the problem of the United States and why the United States is so polarized because it lacked an identity. It lacked a purpose. It lacked a direction. The world is not ready to take the United States of the past into the future. It just cannot survive. But a more progressive United States, a more profound United States can progress forward. And that's exactly what we intend to do. The death to America is not an ending of the United States as an entirety, but it's an ending of the story that they fed you. They hid the stories of what they did to the blacks, what they did to the Native Americans, the Asians, the Latinos, better yet, to your own kind. Because America was never built on trust, was never built on honesty, was never built on liberty. Those were the things that they promise you, that they can get you to be in submission, to obey the order. But the thing is, there is no order. There is nothing to obey. The system has collapsed. Donald Trump was put here, and as much as we like to say this, Donald Trump was put here to bring forth the full cycle of Pluto return. Many nations do not survive this Pluto return. But the United States is a mere exception to the rule. The United States has two paths forward. It can choose to die. It can choose to come to a conclusion, an ending, or it can choose to breathe once again, the heart to beat. Right now, the United States is going through what we call a political heart attack. The United States is not ending, but it's altering. Its chemistry is altering. Its foundation is changing. But that's for the betterment of society. At least we hope so. Because even though in this world, you still have a free choice of will, even if it doesn't feel like it, even if it doesn't see like it, you still have a choice. Because it's not about whether you can or cannot. It's whether you have the energy, whether or not you believe. Because what you believe in is the energy in which you will match. If you believe that tomorrow the United States will have a truer democratic democracy, then you will experience America with a truer democratic democracy. But if you believe that democracy dies in silence, that democracy is dead upon arrival, then you will align yourself with the energy of those who have believed the same, with those who have sought to end democracy. This is not an accident. This is an alignment. This is whether you can choose to align yourself with the energy, the forces of those who believe democracy can survive, with those who believe that democracy can be reformed for the betterment of society, for the betterment of collective, or you can be with the other side. But the thing is, though, is that no matter what path America chooses, it must undergo fascism. That, at its core, at its root, is what America has to go through. Because America never healed from during the Civil War. It never had, it never will. But, but, this is the moment for America to be able to heal. The face is self, the face is shadow. It refused, it ran away from its shadow for so long. But now, it's facing its past, its dark history, its karmic energy. Because the karmic energy has built a wall surrounding the United States, and the United States is locked, unsure where to go, unsure. He can look up and there's an open tunnel, but he cannot climb, for that the walls are closing in. Because the truth matters more. And so when we say death to America, we're not saying that there is an ending to America or a terrorist organization championing the ending of the United States, but we simply say that the illusion is fading. The illusion is disappearing. The United States that you were taught was never real. It was never there. It was like a medicine being fed to somebody who lives at a rehab center. They told you that you were crazy for believing anything else, but you're not crazy. But what you saw, what you know internally, is the truth. We all live different lives. We all know what happened. So trust that intuition. Don't let anyone misguide you, misdirect you, tell you you're crazy. Because the United States is more stranger than fiction. The truth about slavery, what the United States went through, what it was built upon. You always wonder, you always ask for the question, when will we ever find out the truth about the United States? And so we stand before you today to tell you the truth about the United States. Pluto Return gave us the opportunity. It gave us the opportunity to show you your shadow, to show you what the United States was like in every part of history rolled into one. Think of it like a calzone. You take the dough, you roll it out, and everything from all the past history, from the very start of the story of North America up until the end of the United States or the end of the illusion, all rolled up into one. And every bite you take, you're not only just taking the future, the current present, but you're also taking a little bit of a snippet of the past. That is why oftentimes more than not you see Donald Trump at the highest peak of Pluto Return, returning back to things that past presidents have done in the past. Because we've been here before. We've done this before. And every part of the United States has survived it. The United States cannot and will not die. But the illusion will die. That will be what breaks the system. The system thrives off of an illusion. It doesn't thrive off of the backs of hardworking Americans. It thrives off of those who still believe in the story. The best way that we can transcribe this is Santa Claus. The more people that believe in the story of Santa Claus, the more power and control the story has. When the less people believe in Santa or they lose their faith in Santa over a period of time, the power of Santa weakens. The same matters here. So we ask you the question is, what side are you on? Are you on the side of the light or are you on the side of the shadow? Either way, there's a lesson to be learned here and there's no shame in what side you choose. But death to America simply put represents that. It doesn't represent anything less, it doesn't represent any more. The death to America represents all that we said here tonight. And so, my name is Abigail Adams. Thank you guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you, and I'm gonna send you back to Chris. Okay, so hold on. I need to get water because I feel a little disoriented, a little bit. Not gonna lie, but I was listening internally as they were speaking. But if I can recall correctly, the illusion is ending, right? The illusion is ending, and we have to choose between the light and the shadow. Let's take a look. Let's see. I didn't even ask any questions. Just let the cards answer it themselves. They know the energy. They're very, very much familiar with the energy. She didn't mention her name was Abigail Adams. I want to know who that is. I feel like she might have been the second president. I kept hearing the second president. I saw the signature. Abigail Adams. Oh. Okay, so Abigail Adams is the former First Lady of the United States. And she died in October 28, 1818. And she was born November 22nd, 1744. And she was married to none other than John Adams, was the vice president of what they call it, of George Washington, and became the second U.S. president of the United States. I kept hearing the second, what they call it, vice president, first lady. So she's the first lady of the United States. Very interesting. So we at least have confirmation. That's the first time I ever channeled somebody from that time period. What we have here is we have the strength card, and then we have here the moon. Right, we're asking about the energy, like what do we talk about when it comes to the question, death to America? What we have here, we have the strength card is moving in the past, and the moon card. What is moving away from us? Because it's in the past. This is in the past. This is in the future, right? Well, what's moving away from us is the strength, the power of the illusion. That's what's moving away. And now, as they start to be removed, right? So let's say these cards go here and these cards start to slide away. These cards still remain as is. But let's read it as this is the cover, this is the illusion. What was being covered? I then want to move these two cards over and tell you what really will come to the surface. Okay, so underneath the strength card, we have the reverse world. We have underground behavior, the fracture, the restructuring, the redefinition of rebellion. I'm also hearing the word Taurus too. We have the Sun card, new, rebirth, change, operation, move forward, the Sun, reveal. And here you have an electorate. People have to fight to be seen, have to fight to stay alive. It's just survival. It's the American experiment. The American experiment is called an experiment not because it's an idea or a concept, but because the United States represents an experiment on behalf of the world. Why do you think many nations don't use the chemicals that they use, but here in the United States we do? Because, as one best puts it, we are the American experiment. We represent not only an experiment in democracy, in an idea, in a concept. We represent an experiment in all multitude when it comes to our food, our healthcare, our pharmaceutical drugs. Whatever it is a test. It's an experiment. And as the illusion starts to fade, what gets uncovered? Well, the first thing that gets uncovered is, again, like we said, the experiment. The nasty thing that they did. The thing that they did on the American people, the expose day, is telling me here that there's three of wands here is the destruction of everything. Like the destruction, it's the collapse of the system, the collapse of the institution. It's the collapse of what they told us. The collapse of the American experiment. The American experiment is no more. This means everything. It's talked about the pharmaceutical. It talked about the economic. It talked about our voting patterns, how we're able to vote, who's able to vote, whether or not you're capable of voting. There's many different ways that this is going to break. But what the Three of Wands mostly symbolizes when it comes to the breakdown of everything, anything that is an experiment in the United States that's not done anywhere else around the world will be the thing that oversees destruction. Right? The collapse of that. Then we have here what also gets exposed: the stun, the power, the revelation, the lies, the things that politicians and those in position of power who told the American people, oh, this is what really happened, but then something gets revealed, the historical significance, the energy, the aura had changed because people realize, oh, I'm being lied to. They're lying to me. And they come to this revelation, they come to this realization, oh, I'm being lied to. And that's what the stun card symbolizes. It symbolizes the end of the illusion, and it represents the ending of the lies. And here you have it, the world's card reverse. This lie turned the United States experiment upside down. It's like somebody going into the laboratory and raiding the laboratory and saying, done, you guys are done. We found out you're all getting arrested, stuff like that. That's what it felt like. It felt like somebody got caught. That's what it symbolizes. That's what it means. Somebody got caught. Now, spiritual angels tell me, death to America, death in the most simplest form in the tarot card deck symbolizes rebirth. And Abigail Adam talked about the rebirth of the United States. The rebirth of the United States. Abigail Adams. Interesting. So we have the Three of Coins reversed. We have the tip. This is Abigail Adams moving. She just gave us the tip, so she's very close nearby. This was her information. This was her moment to shine. I actually didn't expect to channel somebody from the 1700s, especially at the beginning of the United States birth. But I also didn't expect that to come from the Akashic records, but lo and behold, it did. The top of the deck here also talks about the Nine of Cups, caring about one another, community, understanding that we're all in this together. Just because somebody has a little bit of financial difficulty or financial situation different than yours doesn't make them less than you. It makes us equal. And we have the Fool card reversed. The Fool card shows that there is a future. We just have to be cautious about our decision. Be cautious where we put our energy. Be cautious and be aware of our historical significance. To understand that what we do now will not only change the future, but it will also change what happens when the next Pluto return comes. When the next generation experience. What we do now, we must be careful. We must tread carefully. And this is the Lover's card here. We have an opportunity to merge together. We have an opportunity to come under the guise of unison, to come under the guise of unity, peace, and tranquility. We have this opportunity. We have this blessing. Right? The shadow and the light, right? The shadow and the light. You have the light representing the woman, and the shadow representing the man, because the man has fire on the tree, while the woman has leaves on the tree. We also have here the Knight of Wands. You just have to know when it's time to fight, when it's time to get up and fight. Right? If you want this, you have to know when it's time to get up, when it's time to strike. But also to understand the energy in which you want. Are you seeking an America where there is no longer an experiment? Are you seeking an America where you don't have to worry about being a part of a social experiment, but instead be part of a true and fair democracy? Or are you looking for something else? Right? Or you wanting to stay in this illusion because it feels comfortable, because it feels like something you grew up with, but it doesn't have to be this way. And then that card that comes in is if you decide to choose to go after the outcome after the Knight of Wands, or the Three of Cups, there's many rewards on the other side. Just know where to align your energy and do it correctly, and you will find your path. That's why Spirit, in particular, told me to do these videos in a specific order. We're talking about the fall of Britain and the death of a king, and then the rise of an England, or better yet, yeah, the rise of an England, which is just talking about your intuition, your psychic abilities, stuff like that. The reason to get to where you want to be, to get to this point, to get to the Three of Cups, you have to be in the mindset of, okay, so in order for me to get to the Three of Cups, I need to be able to allow my inkling, my internal drive to meet me there, to let me go there. That's what you have to do. If you want to see this world, if you want to see this outcome, you have to meet this outcome. I believe in this outcome. Do you believe in this outcome? If the timeline is divergent, you can go into the shadow or you can go into the light. That is up to you. And underneath this full card reverse, we have the Eight of Coins. And the Eight of Coins is very interesting because look on the middle of the photo. We have a woman. Then we also have a male. So the woman is supposed to be president, right? Looks like Harris. But instead you have a man with the Twin Towers in the background holding his hand up. And he instead took the oath of office. And here you have is a Taurus or a bull with the solar eclipse. Right? And here you have it's death to America. The Ten of Swords. But it's the Eight of Coins. It's saying that each painting, each picture that you choose represents a timeline. The question is, what timeline would you choose? And underneath this Lovers card, because remember, before we go to the Lovers card here, you have the Fool card here. And the Fool card, remember I told you, you have to be cautious about the world you do and what the world you want to be in, because the energy you apply, the light or the shadow you decide to go with, will determine the outcome. But the Lovers card is here and it's followed by the Seven of Cups reverse. So in a couple of words, is that it doesn't have to be division. It doesn't have to be divisive. If you can accept the shadow of you, you destroyed the illusion. You destroyed the system. It looks like Ghislaine Maxwell, if you will. Ivanka Trump, Ashton Kutcher, James Comey, whoever that guy is. No idea who that is. And some white dude over here. But there's a Seven of Cups. And most simply put, is when you believe that you can accept the shadow and darkness and also the light and beautiful white love that the United States has, and you are able to accept both sides, you will essentially end the system. You will end the illusion. Each person has to do this on their own. And underneath this Knight of Wands here, when you choose to go out and fight, right, the Knight of Wands here, you have the Ten of Swords. You will not experience in America where it comes to an end or experience it in conclusion, but instead it reforms. And underneath the Three of Cups here, you have the Ace of Cups, right? This is celebration. Knowing that there's more rewards, better rewards on the other side. And here you have is the Ace of Cups. Something better is cooking. This is the Taurus, this is the bull. Whether you chose the bull, or whether or not you chose the woman or the man, regardless, something's cooking. And the first card that came out was the Knives of Coins. You don't need to take that risk. You don't need to sit here and say, well, I don't know about what's going to be on the other side. What Spirit is saying is that you can take that risk. There's no wrong answers. The question is, what reality do you want to be in? What America do you want to experience? That's all you have to do. That's the only question you have to answer yourself. Nothing else. On the bottom of that here, we have the Eight of Swords. You could choose to be in a mental state of not be able to see, to be able to be asleep, or you can choose to be awake and end the system, the end the government. Right? You could choose that. You could choose her. But if you choose her, just be prepared for the government to end. Because this is the end of the illusion. The illusion needs to end so she can be in. You cannot have her in the system, because if you do, like Abigail Adams said, she would not represent women. She will represent the masculinity. She will represent the male counterpart. So you're not getting an actual woman president. You're getting a woman with a woman body who acts like a man. That's all that spirit is saying. That spirit, all that spirit has to say to you. Is there anything else you'd like to say? They are trying to tell me though. Donald Trump, when Donald Trump came into power, he brought the United States to the understanding of bringing in light versus darkness, and so that is what this moment is. This is what this moment calls for. This is what this moment means. It's asking you, what side are you on? Are you on the side of light or are you on the side of darkness? And that's the question you have to comprehend. Let me know in the comment section below, what side are you on? What America do you want to see? I want you to be highly detailed, highly descriptive, because when I'm doing this video, it is Thursday, August 7th, 10:49 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are going to open on a Lion Gate portal, the strongest portal of the entire year, 8/8. August 8th. This had not come at a better time. Put it in the comment section below. Be descriptive of what America means to you, what you want to see in your country, what you want to experience, what timeline you want to be in. And take this and believe it with all your fullness. Believe it in all your heart. Walk along the streets as if that outcome had already come to pass. And manifestation over time, as you believe it, you will receive it. I mean, remember, for me to become this YouTuber, I had to believe that I was going to become a YouTuber at some point. I wrote it down when I was 11. It took me, I voted out at 11. It took me 8 years before I became a YouTuber. But manifestation does work. Patience is what matters more in any manifestation skill. Patience, patience, patience. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out. I love you.